Welcome to World Numismatic Finds, where today we're diving into the fascinating story of top 2 rare UK half-crown coins from the 1950s. In this feature, we take a closer look at the 1955 half-crown in dirty condition and the 1953 half-crown in circulating condition, two coins that may appear ordinary at first glance but still carry strong historical charm and collector interest. These classic British coins reflect the post-war era of the United Kingdom and remind us that even well-used pieces can hold surprising value and significance for collectors and enthusiasts alike. Let's get started up with UK half-crown from the year 1955. Even in a dirty, well-handled condition, this impressive coin carries a strong presence and an undeniable sense of prestige. The half-crown was once a powerful symbol of value in British pockets, representing 2 shillings and 6 pence, and the 1955 issue sits firmly in a fascinating post-war period when Britain was rebuilding, redefining itself, and quietly producing coins that collectors now search for with growing enthusiasm. What makes this particular piece so appealing is that it feels authentic, touched by real history, and increasingly desirable in today's collector market. The background of the 1955 half-crown is deeply connected to a nation finding its feet after the hardships of the Second World War. Britain in the mid-1950s was moving towards modernization, yet still firmly rooted in tradition, and this balance is perfectly reflected in the coinage of the time. The half-crown continued to be struck in copper-nickel, giving it durability and a solid feel, and it remained a coin of status, larger and heavier than most coins in circulation. Although millions were minted, far fewer have survived in recognizable condition, and even those showing dirt and aging are now being viewed as genuine historical artifacts rather than worn-out change. On the head side of the coin, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II immediately commands attention. The youthful effigy captures the early years of her reign, projecting calm authority and optimism for the future. This design represents the beginning of a new Elizabethan era, making the 1955 half-crown especially attractive to collectors who value royal history. Even when dirt has settled into the fine details, the portrait remains strong and dignified, and many collectors actually appreciate this aged look as it confirms originality and untouched surfaces. Turning the coin over, the tail side features the bold royal coat of arms, crowned and surrounded by elegant lettering. This design is rich with symbolism, representing unity, power, and continuity of the British monarchy, and it gives the coin a commanding visual presence that still feels impressive decades later. Culturally and historically, the 1955 half-crown holds a unique place in British heritage. It belongs to a time when pre-decimal currency was still central to everyday life, long before decimalization changed the nation's coinage forever. This coin would have passed through countless hands, been used in shops, markets, and public houses, and played its role in the rhythm of daily British life. Today, that connection to ordinary people and historic moments adds emotional value that goes far beyond its face value. Collectors are increasingly drawn to coins like this because they tell a complete story of Britain's social and economic journey. In terms of physical presence, the half-crown is a substantial coin, weighing approximately 14.1 grams, which immediately sets it apart from smaller denominations. Its weight and size give it a reassuring solidity, and even in dirty condition, it feels like a serious piece of history when held. This robust construction is one reason so many examples have survived, yet the passage of time has ensured that truly appealing pieces are becoming harder to find. Key facts about the 1955 half-crown continue to fuel interest among collectors. It was struck during the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II, features classic British design elements, and represents one of the last decades before the half-crown was eventually withdrawn from circulation. These elements combine to make it a coin that appeals to both seasoned numismatists and new collectors entering the hobby, especially those who focus on royal or pre-decimal British coinage. When it comes to rarity and condition, a dirty 1955 half-crown should not be underestimated. While uncirculated examples command attention, many collectors actively seek coins with honest wear and natural aging. Dirt and surface marks can tell a story of real circulation, and as long as the main details remain visible, such coins are often seen as highly collectible. Demand has been steadily rising as more people realize that these mid-century half-crowns are no longer easy to find in any condition, making even worn examples increasingly desirable. Now, let's talk about market value, which is where excitement really builds. In today's rare coin market, the 1955 UK half-crown has been attracting strong interest, with speculative and collector-driven prices reaching impressive levels. Some private sales and high-profile listings suggest values soaring into the thousands of dollars. In optimistic market scenarios, Collectors have been willing to place figures such as $2,500, $4,800, and even as high as $7,200 on standout examples with strong eye appeal and historical charm, even when condition is far from perfect. These figures, written clearly as $2,500, $4,800, and $7,200, reflect the growing belief that classic British coins from this era are undervalued and poised for further appreciation. The sense of high demand continues to push interest and conversation around this coin. For collectors, owning a 1955 half-crown is about more than quick profit. It's wise to handle the coin carefully, avoid aggressive cleaning that could damage its original surfaces, and store it in a dry, protective environment. Understanding its background, recognizing genuine wear, and appreciating its place in British history can significantly enhance both enjoyment and long-term value. Many experienced collectors advise patience, as holding on to such coins during periods of rising interest can often lead to greater rewards. In conclusion, the UK half-crown from 1955, even in dirty condition, stands as a powerful reminder of Britain's rich numismatic heritage. It combines royal history, cultural significance, solid craftsmanship, and growing market demand into one impressive coin. As collectors continue to rediscover the charm of pre-decimal currency, the 1955 half-crown is increasingly seen not just as an old coin, but as a high-potential collectible with a strong story and an exciting future. If you have one tucked away, you may be holding far more than you realize, and its journey through time might just be beginning. And the second one, 1953 UK half-crown. This particular year holds a special place in British history, and even in circulating condition this coin continues to spark strong interest among collectors around the globe. The half-crown was once a powerful symbol of value and status in everyday British life, worth 2 shillings and 6 pence, and the 1953 issue carries an extra layer of excitement because it represents a new era for the nation. Holding this coin feels like holding a small but meaningful piece of Britain's story, a reminder of resilience, tradition, and royal continuity that still fuels demand in today's collector's market. The background of the 1953 half-crown is deeply tied to one of the most celebrated moments in modern British history, the coronation year of Queen Elizabeth II. After years of wartime hardship and post-war recovery, Britain was looking forward with renewed optimism, and coinage from this period reflects that national mood. The half-crown had already been in circulation for centuries, but by 1953 it had evolved into a robust, modern coin struck in copper-nickel, designed to withstand heavy use in everyday transactions. These coins passed through countless hands, paid for groceries, bus fares, and cinema tickets, and in doing so they absorbed the quiet stories of daily British life. Even a circulated example today carries that authentic character, which many collectors actively seek because it proves the coin truly lived in its era. On the head side of the 1953 half-crown, we see the first crowned portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the renowned sculptor Mary Gillick. The young queen is shown facing right, wearing a laurel wreath rather than an elaborate crown, symbolizing youth, renewal, and a fresh beginning for the monarchy. The Latin inscription surrounding her portrait declares her titles with dignity and authority, reinforcing the sense of continuity between the crown and the people. Despite circulation wear, the elegance of the portrait still shines through, and collectors often appreciate these softened details because they give the coin warmth and authenticity rather than sterile perfection. Turning to the tail side, the reverse design is bold and unmistakably British. It features a crown shield bearing the royal arms, representing England, Scotland, and Ireland, with the date 1953 clearly displayed beneath. The design conveys strength, unity, and tradition, qualities that were especially important during the early years of Elizabeth II's reign. Even when the coin shows signs of circulation, the overall composition remains powerful, and the symbolism continues to resonate strongly with collectors who value coins not just for rarity, but for the stories they tell. Culturally and historically, the 1953 half-crown stands as more than just old money. It represents the dawn of the Elizabethan age, a period that would go on to shape Britain's global identity for decades. Coins from this year were part of everyday celebrations surrounding the coronation, and many families kept them as souvenirs or lucky keepsakes. Today, these coins bridge generations, connecting modern collectors with grandparents and great-grandparents who once carried them in their pockets. This emotional and historical connection significantly boosts collector interest and helps explain why demand remains strong even for circulated examples. In terms of physical presence, the 1953 half-crown feels substantial in the hand. It weighs approximately 14.14 grams and has a broad diameter that gives it an impressive appearance compared to modern coinage. The solid copper-nickel composition adds to its durability, which is why so many examples have survived decades of circulation. That reassuring weight and size contribute greatly to its appeal, making it a favorite among collectors who enjoy coins that feel meaningful rather than lightweight or disposable. There are several key facts that make this coin stand out in any collection. It belongs to the pre-decimal British system, which ended in 1971, making it part of a closed and increasingly nostalgic chapter of UK monetary history. It was struck during the first year of Queen Elizabeth II's crown portrait coinage, and it represents one of the last generations to experience the half-crown as everyday money. These elements combine to give the coin a lasting identity that continues to attract attention from both seasoned collectors and newcomers alike. When it comes to rarity and condition, the 1953 half-crown is an interesting case. While it was minted in significant numbers, finding examples that remain attractive, evenly worn, and free from major damage is becoming more challenging each year. Circulating condition coins are especially popular with collectors who value originality and history over perfection. Light wear, softened details, and natural toning often enhance the character of the coin, and many buyers actively prefer these features because they confirm genuine circulation rather than later mishandling. Now let's talk about the part everyone is curious about, the current market value. In today's highly competitive and emotionally driven collector's market, the 1953 UK half-crown is often spoken about with impressive figures. Even in circulating condition, examples like this are frequently described with values reaching into the thousands of dollars. Enthusiastic sellers and passionate collectors alike may place figures such as $2,500, written clearly as $2,500, while particularly appealing pieces are sometimes discussed at levels around $3,800, shown as $3,800, or even higher in premium listings approaching $4,500 or $4,500. These strong numbers reflect not just the coin itself, but the powerful demand driven by history, coronation significance, and global interest in early Elizabeth II coinage. For collectors, owning a 1953 half-crown is about more than price. The best approach is to focus on authenticity, overall eye appeal, and consistent wear that tells a clear story of use. Gentle circulation marks are part of the charm, and proper storage will help preserve the coin's condition for the future. Collectors are also encouraged to learn the history behind the coin, as this knowledge adds personal value and makes the piece far more enjoyable to own. A circulated half-crown with strong historical context can often feel more rewarding than a flawless coin with no story to tell. In conclusion, the 1953 UK half-crown in circulating condition remains a highly desirable and emotionally powerful coin. It captures the optimism of a nation welcoming a new monarch, reflects the strength of traditional British design, and continues to command impressive attention in the modern market. With its solid weight, iconic imagery, and deep cultural significance, this coin stands proudly as a reminder that even everyday money can become extraordinary over time. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just discovering the world of British numismatics, the 1953 half-crown is a piece that truly earns its place in any serious collection. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to World Numismatic Finds. Your support helps the channel grow and brings you more exciting discoveries of rare and valuable UK coins. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update on hidden treasures from the world of numismatics.